and welcome to take two, ladies and gentlemen, of Ask Desert Owl. And on the Forbidden History series, we always have technical problems with YouTube. It's just the way it is with them. They're a bunch of depraved people that work over there, and we feel sorry for them. They like to injure people. That's part of their protocol, and that's because they're a part of this bigger agenda that is involved in genocide on mankind. It's rather sad and a terrible state that we're in right now because we see so many people suffering, and these people who run all the medias are a part of that suffering. And Join the Dots, good to have you. And Join the Dots has about half a dozen channels, so go check them out. They're censored as well by YouTube, because they tell the truth as well. So anybody who tells the truth, gets punished for doing so. But it's a good punishment because we're doing the right thing. And if I were going to be punished for doing something, I'd want to be punished for doing the right thing. So nothing to be disparaged about because it's the way things are, ladies and gentlemen. And so good to be hanging out with great people. That's the distinction when you're pretty well standing alone because there's so few people that get it, that love the truth. And but we're gonna carry on, all right, and we're gonna go to our read now with the Gospel of Thomas. It's really an extension. Oh, by the way, again, click the live chat at the top. You've got to click the live chat because we have a couple quotes we always put up, and if you don't click live chat, you'll miss half the content because when we do words and such, if you don't hit live chat, you won't get all the chat. And so I'm going to read the quote because probably once you came on and you didn't immediately hit live chat or before you turned it on, those quotes will not come up now. Okay, they really figured it out. That's because they hate us doing this, so they figure out a way to get right around us, right? So I'll read the quote at the beginning. It's an appropriate thing to do. Unless there is a discussion on how words and the scriptures have all been changed and transformed, there can be no discussion. Okay? One more time. Unless there is a discussion on how words and the scriptures have been changed and transformed, there can be no discussion. And so how come these King James thumpers and all the Bible thumpers out there, they all got their truth, but not one of them talks about how the words have been altered or how the scriptures have been shuffled, rearranged, pulled out, contradicted, reversed tenses, future tense, past tense, male, female, female, male, future tense, past tense, future. They've done it all, ladies and gentlemen. They've done a hatchet job on our Schultres. So Schultres, original word for scriptures. Scripture means skip truth. You see, it's a cyber code. It's an occultic scripture, skip truth. You see, but the original word is Schultres, which we find then in the modern in the word sutures, Schultres, because it ties everything together. And so that which is first is superior, that which is first is original, and that which is first is what we want to know. We don't want to have do you want to have false terms that have been spoon fed to you by the Vatican, um, Knights of Malta, the Jesuits, and the Freemasons? You really want all that garbage? It was the Luciferian Freemason King James I of England, who came out of Scotland, King James the Fifth of Scotland, an occultist. He wrote the Book of Beasts before he gave us the King James Version. Actually, it was the Jewish bankers, though, that gave us that translation in the Lloyds of London. Then they got James to put his name on it, and it made it look like it's the Protestant Revolution, when the truth was it was a code book, and that's the first book that they put the word Lucifer in. Lucifer was put in by the founder of Freemasonry, King James, with the Jewish bankers. Okay, and you can know that the Jews have their hand in it at the beginning, because if you look in the middle of the book at Psalm 119, you'll see the Hebrew alphabet. Every 8 verses in the very middle of the book, the very middle chapter, showing that they're at the center. You got to remember symbolism, that signs and symbols rule the world. So when the Jews put themselves in the middle, the very middle, and they even put the word Jew in our book as well, because the word Jew was never there. It's Judean. Judean has nothing to do with this culture. That this word, came only in 1775. The word Jew with the letter J, and they added the letter J to the alphabet at the same time. Um, so they put themselves in and altered the scriptures. You think the Mezarites, is the original word for Egypt. You really think that these people that follow the Babylonian Talmud and hate your guts are really going to give you an honest set of scriptures? Because that's what all the Bible thumpers think. They think, man, the Jews gave me, yeah, and Hebrew and everything. Well, wait, it wasn't in Hebrew originally. It was in Aramaic originally. Aramaic, which is akin to what I'm talking about within the Indo-Germanic mother tongue. Okay, so it's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. It's really amazing what game they have played on all of us. And so don't be sucked in. We start. We remember when we came into the world. What do? We ask questions. Why? Why? Right? And then one day we stopped asking questions because, well, my preacher, he wouldn't lie to me. No, man, he's like the preachiest guy you ever wanted to meet. And my doctor wouldn't lie to me because he's wearing a white coat, right? But the judge, yeah, maybe that judge, I don't know about that guy in a black robe sitting on the bench, which is the bank, Latin for bank. Oh, he's working with the bankers, the Jewish banking. Oh, I get it. That's why they railroad all those innocent people into prison. I get it. Huh. It's amazing, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? So, anyway, we better get on with reading the extended version of the Gospel of Thomas. Basically, what I've done, ladies and gentlemen, the latest book we just got up and published. And Rhett, good to have you. 100% heart. Okay, love it, Brett. Rhett, where are you from? What state are you in? I meant to ask you when I was sending out that notice earlier. But the Gospel of Thomas is 114 sayings that there was a fragmented version that was in the Greek, and then in Nile Hammadi, the Upper Nile, where the river bends, the Nile bends in Egypt, Meitzar, excuse me, the original word. They then found in a clay jar all of these writings from the real the most adept of all the Christian traditions, that were out there. Literally, these are the most sophisticated spiritual writings of Christianity. Christianity being a misnomer, because these were the people of the way, and so what I've done basically is I took, because they were already fragmented and also controlled by the United Nations historical team of UNESCO, with an editor, James Robinson, an editor. Who ever heard of an editor with a translation project? An editor said, "Oh, you can't say that. You better take that out. Let's use some different code words here." Okay, and okay, you're in Alliance, Nebraska. Okay, very good. I lived in Nebraska for a short period, out near York, out that way. And so anyway, where was I going? Where was I going, Ninja? Can you remind me? if you can help save me here. Oh, okay, code words. A little further. What was the last thing I said? See, okay, thank you very much. Senior moment. It's lousy when it happens right on a broadcast, I got to tell you, but thank you for my engineer. And so these documents, were altered. They never gave us the copy of the Coptic. They never, when they published a book. What kind of scholarship is that? They didn't give us copies, the plates of these, so we can go see and read it for ourselves. And so anyway, so what I got inspired, and what I did is I created the Gospel of Thomas extended version, or what I call here on the cover, amended with the lost fragments, underscoring the gospel of the atom. Because what I found out, that really it's not the gospel of Thomas, it's the gospel of the atom. Thomas is not his name, it's a corruption. It's Toma in the Aramaic. This is how you follow the trail back, Toma. But then when you look at it, you realize Toma is the word atom. And it is the star message of the atom. Okay, the star message of the atom. And And so then I found out by getting my 2-volume set of the New Testament Apocrypha that it's actually was pulled together by Matthew, Methuselah Shalah. You see, and so it was Matthew who was a Levitical scribe. That's why he wrote the Hebrew Gospel of Matthew. It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen, what's happened. So what I did is in here I have all the references to all of the other lost writings that were used to extend the versions. In other words, to take the missing pieces that were in these other versions to create the complete thought. That's what I ultimately did here. Okay, so I'm going to read a little bit at the beginning of each program, and then we'll get into the main part of our program, which is the Lost Gospel of the Kayla D. But I want to read this every day myself, and I thought, well, how great it would be to read it, on the on the broadcast here, just a little bit in the opener, just to get me rolling, and so. And want to welcome any new listeners out there, okay? And it's a lonely job, I got to tell you. It's a lonely world, ladies and gentlemen, because people are suffering, and then when you dedicate a lifetime to wanting to know something and to pulling it together, then all of a sudden you find out that most people they don't get it and they don't care. They really do not care, and it's so tragic. Now I see the numbers going up and down on the people watching, and so I just want to mention that if you're getting dropped off, then just come right back in. They're it's you? What, Ninja? All right, you're not there. Are, can you hear me, Ninja? No. Okay. Anyway, when people get dropped off, they need to know that they're not being dropped off. Okay, and that they're okay. It's all happening again. We got buffering. You're breaking up. Okay, let's try it again. Can you hear me, Ninja? All right. It's really bad. Okay. All right. Well, we'll work our way through the Gospel of Thomas, and we'll hope it goes away. It looks like it's spinning real good. These people hate our guts. They really do. They hate all the listeners. Actually, that's the thing that's ironic. They're controlling this medium, but they hate you, ladies and gentlemen. These people that want to give you the jab today. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're hot on it. They hate your guts. They're coming. It's the genocide program is on. You know it, right? And what's happening right now in Australia with Ninja, it's they're not allowed to talk to anybody else. Can you imagine not allowed to talk to anybody on the street? And you can't go anywhere with any more than two people. No more than two people can be together. You know why? Because they don't want people talking. They don't want people talking. And so what they're doing in Australia and New Zealand right now is the very primer for the bigger, Europe and all of the Americas, right? So they're using those two countries down there for the test pilot program, and then so whatever you see happening down there is coming to a neighborhood near you. Okay, it's the end, ladies and gentlemen. It goes back into why the upper atmosphere, the ozone layer has been destroyed. They cannot feed us anymore. And so they knew this was coming. They knew this a long time ago, and they laid all the groundwork for the annihilation. It's the same people that, hey, good to have you, Laura White. Yeah, good to have you back. Okay, you were listening in. And yeah, it's quite a world, ladies and gentlemen. So I got to tell you, the good news is that this is not our world, and that we have been given a library of scriptures that have been stolen from us, and I've been collecting them all my life, and I'm trying. And not only that, but the code has opened to me the games that they played on us, through the Vatican, the beast system, with the banking Jews, who claim to be so benevolent and victims. They painted themselves as the victims, that they're those poor people. They print all the money, but they're just victims, of course, and they run all of commercial enterprises around the world for the Vatican. And the Vatican Catholic Encyclopedia, it says that the Rothschild family, the Bowers, are the protectors and defenders of the Vatican Trust. So they're given their position as Khazarian Ashkenazi Jews to to manage all of the financial interests of the Vatican, and therefore they run the media, they run the Federal Reserve, they run the politicians in Washington, they run the Hollywood movies, they run the music industry, they created the internet, they run the electrical grids around the world, they run it all. These Khazarians, okay, and so made it known clear they hate your guts. They even run the bullpits in the Christian traditions. They're in behind all the pulpits, preaching every Sunday, and they're the Jesuits or the Jesuits. They're founded by the Jews. These people. It's a military operation basically, and the secret societies. Um, they're operating all in tandem. Okay, and Laura saying yes, they do. Yes, it is. They don't want us to worship. Can't stop us, no matter what. That's true. They can try, certainly. Thank you for your input there, Laura. And where are you from, by the way? Got some new people stopping in. I'm always interested in where they're at. That helps me to remember who they are by knowing what state they're in. Anyway, we're going to do a read now. And when you hear me read, I read in the original thought. If you're hearing me for the first time, what they wanted us is stuck in the Hebrew and Greek, and that's the merry-go-round. That's the merry-go-round of deception. I'm not saying there's not some truth there, but mostly it's a diversion. I mean, in Hebrew, at the time of Yeshua 2,000 years ago, no, the common people didn't speak Hebrew; they spoke Aramaic, and only the wealthy and the priesthood spoke Hebrew. So it was an exclusive um, system. It was a code system. It was an elite system. So if they wanted to talk and didn't want you to know what they were talking about, that's how they would do it. You see, and so and people are getting dropped off. It looks like so. I want you to know if you get dropped off, it's not us, it's them. And yeah, you dropped again. So that's Ninja. You got to stop going back and forth. I think that's the thing that's dropping them. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but people aren't going to stay around if they're going to be dropping off. Are you going back from the phone for some reason? Yeah. Thank you for your input there, Laura. Okay, we're getting a buffer now. I'm going to stand by for this buffer to stop. And they designed the system this way. This is not an accident. You think that they can't have this system running perfectly? They designed it, for people that tell the truth and that you know are trying to help our friends transcend. All of us wanting to transcend together. It's just winding. If this happens, we'll probably I don't know. We may keep going. All right. Let's give it a shot. Here comes the Gospel of Thomas. I was just saying that if when I read an original thought, but it's only an introduction to it. It's not heavy into because then I'd lose everybody. What I'm trying to do is to show you the element that comes from the Indo-Germanic. This is the science that they didn't want us to know about. It's right in our modern time. As Waddell said back in the 1800s, who was the foremost expert on hieroglyphics, on the Sumerian culture. Everything you hear about Sumeria today is a lie. With the Anunnaki and all this other nonsense, rulers living 20,000 years, all this stuff. But he said that we're speaking in our modern time 70% Indo-Germanic, Aramaic, Sumerian. Okay, and it was also the same culture in Meitzar, Egypt, that was speaking, the similar dialect, that they were all Aryan cultures and they were all speaking the same breath that was breathed into Adam at the beginning. Okay, that's what you need to know. So you're going to hear a historical event here in this type of a reading because I'm the only one there, as far as I know. I've been doing this all my life, and now we're knocking it out. It took a lifetime to learn. For those who, so this is the Gospel of Thomas 4. For those who look for me, Yeshua breathes, the Eshan, who is mature in his age, should not wait to ask the royal eyes of creation, child, that's who conquers the seven sons of time about the original pure state of being. And if it is discovered, that Ashan will then find for himself the all of the truth, the true Vata fire, the true life in a day without end. The one who looks for me diligently will find me in the royal eyes of the creation of the seven sons. For here is where I am hidden within this duality, and here is where I am revealed as one, the one. And those who are first will be made as the last, and those who are last will be made as the first, and they will all become one creation. The enlightened nature, what was once hidden, is now revealed in the things that are past, present, and that come. The kingdom of heaven, the royal house of the sun. So what I do is I give you both. I give you our modern terminology to kingdom of heaven, but it's a code word. Kingdom is Cain, is the word for Cain. King is Cain. See, so we wouldn't want that. And it's really the royal house or the royal domain. And but heaven is a code word for sun because heaven is the even. So literally the even is the evening when the sun sets. You get it? The light is going down, but that's not our kingdom. Our kingdom is the sun is rising, and so it is the sunrise. That's the logo. The great logo is the sun. What better symbol could a monarch want than a star, right? You see. And so I'm just giving you an example there. So I'll read that verse again. The enlightened nature, what was once hidden, is now revealed in the things that are past, present, and that come. The kingdom of heaven, the royal house of the sun, what can be found within all Ashan, and is sought for everywhere. He, the I, who seeks me in the seven suns above, will find there hidden that within the third and final age is the place where I am revealed. I am telling you to keep asking, and it will be given to you. Keep looking, and you will find. Keep knocking, and the door will be opened for you. For everyone who asks receives. The one who intensely seeks out finds. For the one who knocks and keeps on knocking, the gate of light is open for him. I have always been among you with the seed of light, and still you have not recognized me. I have spoken with you as with a people of a higher intellect, for knowledge and for comprehension, and yet you have not recognized my voice, the only one who breathes. Have no fear of what is unknown. Section 5. Yeshua breathes. Be conscious of the things that are in front of you, and what is hiding from you will be revealed for you. For there is nothing covered up that cannot be revealed, nor is there anything not known that cannot be known or be made clear, nor is there anything buried that cannot be raised up. And there we have a sample, ladies and gentlemen, of Gospel of Thomas, and we'll pick it up on number 6 tomorrow, Father willing. Okay, and so yeah, well, let's. I'll tell you what. After all that, Ninja, let's go to a break, okay? And then when we come back, we'll pick it up, and we'll do a couple words when we get back, okay? So I'm glad you tuned in. Sorry for all the persecution that we get through the YouTube, but you know that's the way it is on our planet, and that's okay. They got their job, and we got their job, ladies and gentlemen. I wouldn't want to be a sellout of mankind. You know that would be just a lousy way to start the day every day, wanting to annihilate the rest of creation. That the Heavenly Father, they hate the Heavenly Father. You know that's the real problem. They hate the one that made them. Imagine hating the one that made you and going against him. I feel sorry for them, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go away. We'll be right back. You're tuned into Ask Desert Owl. And at the end of the read, we'll open it up. If you have a comment or a question, love to hear from you. And by the way, if you want to, in the meantime, get hooked up on Skype with Ninja Cat, okay, that's where you can call in. Ninja Cat is all one word, Ninja Cat, just like it sounds. And then you'll see a kitty cat with green eyes looking at you, and that's asked to be added as a contact. And then you can let the Ninja know that you're going to want to call in if that's the case. All right. And also, if you want to call by phone, if that's the only way you can do it, then it's 608 566 7295. 608 566 7295. Okay. So glad you're tuned in with us, and look forward to doing this together with you. Okay. And we don't know how long or short we have. It doesn't look like a very long road we have anymore, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we need to pull it together and hear some things we've never heard before to fill in the gaps for our spiritual transcendence. I'm Desert Al. Be right back. Am I on? We've had some buffering problems, so am I on the broadcast? Okay, we just lost it. We just lost it. We just lost it. Do I need to refresh? Do I just need to refresh or what? Is it going on your end? No. What? Okay. I'm still on the music, it looks like. Okay. It's not all right. So how come my screen is stuck? Let me do a refresh again. Let me try it again. I'm still looking at the book. Okay, it's changing now. Okay, am I on? Am I on? Okay, good enough. Okay, I hear myself talking now. Okay, let me mute it out. We've had some real problems, ladies and gentlemen. It's the special quality of YouTube. You know, they have a special plan for people who like to read scriptures and to talk about the important things of life. So we're very grateful to YouTube for their wonderful effort in serving the community. And how about now? Okay, I see. Join the dot says how no audio. How about now? Okay, it's the delay. Okay, thumbs up from Join. Thank you, Join. Appreciate it. And yeah, we'll have to wonder how we got three people at least on here, if not four. And it says there's one watching now. This is just really beautiful, you know. The thumbs up keep going up to 8, back down to 1, up to 8, back down to 1. That's on the last two nights. Now it's on this here. So it's a good diversion. You know, they figured out how to distract us a little bit, but that's okay because it gives us good energy. You know, it makes us just wanna keep on ticking, ladies and gentlemen, and until they figure out how to really stick it to us. You know, because that's their objective is to figure out how they can stick it to us because they're the you know who's the woos. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, that's who they are. And the ones who claim to be the victims of the world, oh, those poor people, just they're just misunderstood and persecuted. We have a lot we can talk about that. I'm telling you. So I'm going to do a couple words real quick before we do the read. Okay. And we're going to. By the way, if you want to, you know, learn more about the Kayla D, then go back and listen to the introduction and chapter one. We've done 2 days of this already, so just go back rather than repeat myself with all the disruption we've had. I want to just keep rolling, but I want to do a couple words real quick, um, and I'm going to try to do 3 items each program to fill you in, you know, to help you figure out this Indo-Germanic I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to do alphabet as well, and we're going to start with the alphabet. So this T T Z, ladies and gentlemen, and by the way, while I'm doing this, I'll hold back on typing, okay? Because when I'm doing the words, I want them all to be one on top of each other. But you know, the word Zool, uh, Tzool, is the original, and it was replaced in Babylon with this, okay, L. And so just like the word elders would be correctly Tzooltor, like this, Zultor, actually with the Z, Zultors. You see, so there's a power word because the TZ means TZ. Let me write it in there. TZ equals royal power. Okay, that's what it's a symbol. So we see it in words like T S U N T Z U. You know, there's variable spellings on these words, but Sun Tzu, the art of war, you know, and so the T is silent, and that's what Yeshua was on the cross for 3 days or excuse me, 3 hours, the three, you know, and so he was quiet until the end, and then he speaks up at the end. So it's the silent T. It's the symbol of the sun. It's the symbol of uh, direction. In other words, it was a navigator's instrument. The circle, the Celtic cross was the navigation instrument for the mariners, for the Phoenicians and the Celtics, and all that. And so Abram, okay, Abram is really uh, Tzavam, which is really Sovereign, sovereign. So what he had was not a name, but a title. And when he got the plural from Abram to Abraham, and he wasn't a ham, and what a joke that is, because that's not what they would have called him if they were a pure tradition. But it's really Zavram Haim, Tzavarhamhaym, Zavram Haim, Zavram Haim. And so the AV, so as we said, the TZ is Royal, power. Okay. And then the AV is a star. RAM, we know what RAM is. We all want to get the REM sleep, right? The RAM is power again. And Zavram Haim, Haym, is the breath of the many. Okay, so that's all there. And so this is how we break down these components. And what they've done is they've destroyed these original elements, ladies and gentlemen. They've destroyed them. And so I just wanted to give you a quick example. I'm going to hold on the others for tomorrow because there's been so much disruption. I appreciate them working so hard to sell out our planet and being a disruption because it's like I said, everybody's got a job, somebody's got to do it. And I'm glad I got my job and they got their job. But we'll be doing words every program as well. Okay, they're trying to tear the world down, so we got to give them credit, ladies and gentlemen, for working overtime, to do everything to destroy life. The birds are dying out there, on the East Coast here, and I got a sick bird on my roof tonight. It's just so sad to see they've literally destroyed the entire world, and they're proud of it. They're shining, like the sheriffs and the police that work for them. They polish their badge every day. They feel so special, with their occultic secret society and their destruction of mankind. They just think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread and apple pie, and I just can't get over it, because they've sold out their own families, they've sold out their children. They're sellouts for that special handshake and that special bank loan, that they want to get, and that special automobile or motorcycle as well. It's really cool, they want all of those things. I'm so glad that I forsook pursuing all those things myself a long time ago, to be set free in pursuing the knowledge of the higher order, the other world, the what's up there. Down here it's a dead zone, and the dead, the Walking Dead, are running the show, and they feel very, very important. So good for them. Good for them, because they will meet the one that made them, but they're not going to look at him because they can't. But they're going to hear his voice, and they're going to tremble in their little serpent outfit, naked, and wonder what torment is waiting for them for eternity. I kind of envision it that they drift through the endlessly through space, and freeze out there being naked because they can't go back to the light. It's interesting that the Masons, they all have the little secret. What do you want, my son? Oh, Poobah, Grand Poobah, I want more light, please. Okay, let me give you a little phony meaning of a symbol, and they lie to him and tell him that's what the symbol means. They've been lying to him all the years they've been in there until they get to the top, if they ever do. But it was Manly P. Hall who said it clearly, that the Masonic light is darkness. The Masonic light is darkness, ladies and gentlemen. So they trick them. They trick them. Then they wake up one day, found out they were deceived and fooled. And Laura says, "Who are the strangers who I think you mean crept in unaware. Well, I'm not, you'll have to comment on that because I'm not sure where you're going with that, Laura. Not, yeah, crept. I see that. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm going to get on with the read here, chapter 2, and it's been an adventure tonight just getting here, and so now it's I have on my note here the commentator. So I think that, oh yeah, because in chat we read chapter 1, and that was the end of the dialogue of Joseph the sovereign, Vole Shaphe the sovereign. Joseph of Ramtha is or Arimathea is Vole Shaphe the sovereign. The Zavram means sovereign. That's the original word. I never imagined I'd discover the original word for sovereign, because when we studied the law and all that, we always talked about sovereignty, but the truth is there's no sovereignty except in our Redeemer, in the great Father of light, ladies and gentlemen. That's the only sovereignty. And if you're not with the sovereign, you there is no sovereignty for you, because it's with him. And so now we're in chapter 2, and it starts before we get into the gospel. It is by the commentator. So whoever was taking all of this and organizing it to preserve it out of the bronze sheets out of England. And the reason it was done in bronze sheets was because bronze does not corrode in a damp environment. The damp environment would have not allowed paper products to survive. So they put Joseph, being a wealthy merchant, and a tin merchant at that, and dealing in the copper and tin, could create the bronze sheets to preserve the most important story of his great nephew, because he was the great uncle and the uncle of Mary, great uncle of Yeshua. A part of the saga and story that most people have never heard, but you're getting it here tonight. Okay, so glad to have you. Hope you tell your friends about the series. This is the third of the series we're doing. We have 25 chapters to go through, and then we've got a real treat coming up next. You've never heard of it before, heard about it, just like this, the Kayla D, the Gospel of the Wise Strangers. The word gospel is a misnomer. It's really, star message, evangelion. Why did they change from the Greek evangelion and then go to the word gospel? Because they're not anything related to each other, right? Gospel is a little occultic joke on everybody, saying, go spell, fool. You ain't going to do it. Desert does it, but nobody else is going to be able to figure it out. And I didn't figure it out. The Father revealed it to me. But the uh, the word evangelion literally means star message. There, the Av, the AV, remember I said up there is star. And so evangelion, the star message of enlightenment. There you go. That makes sense. And that's why prophet originally, there's no prophet to be made. It was originally, he was called the star navigator. Oh, there you go. The message in the stars, a star navigator, and going back to the light. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm getting it. All of these things have been taken out of our scriptures, our shultres, ladies and gentlemen, shultres, okay? Sutures, ties everything together. So here we go, chapter 2, by the commentator. When Iliad, our father in the faith, and Iliad is Joseph the sovereign, our father in the faith, the original word is victory of light, our father in the victory of light, came in a full flight from the far off Yerushalayim, Shalom, Jerusalem, seeking refuge beyond the confines of his former persecutors' dominion. Yeah, they put him on a boat and hoped that he was going to starve to death and die from thirst. But the Father saved him. He set his colystone in Lavenlock, here, where he spoke to them, the Druthin, breathe. We have never, and the Druthin, by the way, are the Druids, and they are the descendants of Israel. Okay, maybe not all of them. I don't know, the extent of that, but they acknowledge that they were of the lost tribes of Israel, escaped from the Assyrians, and set up their new community in the deepest, remotest area they could find to escape persecution. Okay, the Druthin, the Druids, breathe. We have never been without the light of truth. Yet you seek to bring an other light, strange to us, which seems a less bright than ours. Then Iliad breathes. Vole Shaphe, Joseph the sovereign, breathes. Let us not debate. as to whose light lit at the fountain of truth burns brightest. But let us put our two lights together so that they may jointly give out more illumination and dispel more of the darkness. The truth and breathe. The light of your teachings was always foreshadowed, and because they knew about the Messiah, that's the point. And he of whom you bring news is not unknown to us. The origin of the truth, the origin of the truth is immaterial, for it stands alone on its own merits and should always be welcomed, being unlike a Shen, men, who have to be supported by their material lineage, or as Paul talked about, genealogies, that are irrelevant. The lights are put together, becoming one, and we alone are its inheritors. Do others have the three guiding lights of life, truth, love, and justice, symbolized by sun, earth, and moon, which all must strive to express in all perfection? Or do they know the three things to be uncompromisingly combated: irresponsibility, hypocrisy, and self-centeredness? Of the three cornerstones of character, spirituality, integrity, and individuality. My brothers, an awful darkness spreads over the land, land is lend, because you only get it temporarily. And I fear for the safety of our light. Since the ravens changed their feathers from white to black, love, though esteemed in many forms, is not what it used to be. The love of a Shan and woman has become a thing for lewd jest or righteous disgust. In the age of true freedom, love dwells graciously in a home of beauty, a re, a re, erected by the highest aspirations of a Shen, men. Men, man, and men means criminal and sinner, ladies and gentlemen, in the Old English. And in the Babylonian Talmud, it's even something worse. So you don't want to know that you guys out there don't want to be men or a man. That's the corruption, the game they played on us by giving us false terms like child means killed and chilled and cold because you're dead on arrival, DOA. Okay? We are youth. We're youth. The youth, that's where the word Judah or Yutha is correctly Yutha, the youth, because it's the dot. That's the Yud, the star. It's the smallest, but it represents the biggest, the power, you see. Okay, continuing on here. Where did I leave? I moved away from my paper. Now I got to see where I was at. Okay, here we go. They paid manly homage outside her door, those granted entry displaying justifiable pride in their achievement. Now Ashan battered down the door while under the whiplash of lust, polluting the purity within, and call it freedom. Once love stood on a sunlit hilltop, clothed in modesty and decorum, but now the climb is too difficult for spiritually weakened bodies, so she is lured into shadows below. There she has become a befouled, distorted ghost of her former self. Love and beauty are the reflections of the Yahweh, the original word for what people mispronounce as Yahweh, or was converted then into Lord. Lord meaning our mother who gives us our bread, or also the sunrise. So there it is, but it's in modern corruption. Okay, so I'll try that again. Love and beauty are the reflections of the Yahweh in the mirror of a Shan. But the images once reflected in radiant loveliness is now distorted to ugliness. Perhaps we have failed, but we are so few. Is it that so-called love now lacks the nourishment of sincerity without which it must decline and dies? Maybe since we no longer control our destinies in war, men are a Shen are less ready to strive for the laurels of love, while women bestow the gem of their bodies, vates, with wanton indifference to the needful sacrifices required to sustain it. A new unhallowed love walks the land, unclean harlots and those in whom purity becomes the shroud for love are joining forces against the mystery that once illuminated life. A love for which noble-hearted Shen and pure women would once gladly die, now is so frail it withers at the first breath of adversity, or departs at the luring call of lust. Now true love can be found only where the cats have horns. What has happened to the harp praised glory, illumination, all illumination of the past? In the dark night descending, my heart is heavy with desolation and loneliness. My only consolation is that I can still follow the path of duty, knowing the bud of duty grows into the rose of sacrifice, which falls to bear fruit of the Spirit. Duty is not the least of our lights, but in this land among our people, it is to bear for a barren woman. My brothers, with this I send the book concerning Yeshua, the mother light, the Iduin, which is a it's a Middle English corruption for the word atom, the atom, the first atom, the first made, who is all things and in all things, adopted son of Joseph, Polyshaphe, the carpenter, and through Mere, who through his sacrifice for love and duty became our own assurance for non-ending life. Let me take a sip and we'll continue on here. Enter the book. So here's where the gospel actually starts now, ladies and gentlemen. Enter the book. The beginning of the star message of the wise strangers, or the Kaledi. His teachings were brought to us by those who lived within the circle of his light and safeguarded by our earthly father in the victory of light, faith. Iliad, Joseph, a star ram. He being not the least, and by the way, his name wasn't Joseph. Okay, I've got to get those cards in front of me because I don't read it all the time that way, and therefore I haven't. It's off my head right now. But yeah, he has another name. It's in the actually. I think I can find it real quick now that I brought the subject up. I might as well get it right. So let me. It's right in the beginning of my notes here. Let's see here. Hang on. That's chapter 3. Okay, getting close. Hope everybody's doing okay out there. It's a tough world, but we're going to get through it, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Just hang out. All right. And, all right, what's going on here? Okay, I thought it would be close to the beginning. Don't you know? I thought I can make this easy. It's not happening easy. Okay, wait a minute. Here we go. Okay, so Joseph of Arimathea. Arimathea is not a place, it never was. And in the Aramaic, it's Ramtha. So it's Joseph of Ramtha, but again, it's not a place. And so what does Ramtha mean? It's been abbreviated by the occultists, of course, and there was an AV in front of it. So it's Avram, Tha, the Theos for the divinity, right? And so he was also known as the wise commander, which was correctly the wise navigator. But his actual legal name, are you ready? Because you've not heard this anywhere else, I'm sure, is Josiah. So Joseph, the sovereign, uh, which was a title of honor for him because he provided for his family. He built a tomb for his great nephew, right? He built the tomb. I mean, he was the provider for the family, so he received the title of Joseph, who provided for his entire tribe, Vole Shaphe, and so his legal name is Josias. Okay, so there you go, and I need to put that note on the document actually. So let me put a 3x5 card here, and then we're again we're going to open it up to any comments or questions at the end, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost done with the read here, and I think Ninja might have a question. So, and if you want to get on her Skype account to do with good quality with our headsets on through Skype, then hook up with Ninja Cat. Okay, it's all one word on Skype. Do the Skype search Ninja Cat, natural spelling, all one word, Ninja Cat, and then she'll be able to accept. You're wanting to get on with her account, and she'll accept it, and then we'll have a good connection. All right. Otherwise, you can do it by the phone as well. So, but it'll be after. And Ninja says she does have a question, and it'll be after we're done with our read here. Okay. So, thank you for hanging out with us, and we're really grateful to be here sharing with all of you. After all, this is serious stuff, isn't it? While there's a bunch of game players out there, life is serious, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a game. Enter the book. His teachings with the original in teaching is seed planting, right? The seed planter. His teachings were brought to us by those who live within the circle of his light and safeguarded by our earthly father in the faith, the victory of light. Iliad, Joseph, a star ram, Josiah. He being not the least among the articulate ones who knew Yeshua intimately, being an individual of no average estate, both in the distant land in the east, the A star, from where he came, and in this no less virile land of Britannia as well. Yeshua is the fountain of all excellence and perfection, fed by the bountiful A spirit of eternity, the pure stream of wisdom, that's Veshatom, refreshing the longing spirits of Ashen. He responded to their yearning desires as a bee. It should be correctly V, as in Victor, is drawn to the scent of roses, as the V is drawn to the scent of roses. He came to fulfill the desires and the longings of all Ashen, as it is expressed in certain of the holy books, the sacred scrolls, but more so living unspoken, non-spoken, in the many illiterate and unenlightened hearts. For such is the nature of things that the tree springing from the yearnings of Ashen will not fail to bear fruit. Sacred books, book is shofar, just like the ram's horn, sacred shofars being likened to an egg containing the embryonic hopes and aspirations of all Ashen men. In the sacred scrolls, the Judeans, it is breathed that the seed of the sun is the shepherd. Shepherd is the Ashaph hearer, the Ashaph hearer of all Ashan. And we here know how a shepherd, an Ashaph hearer, tends his flocks. But Yeshua came not as an Ashaph hearer or a shepherd to drive, but as one bearing a guiding lantern to light the way through the darkness. It is also breathed. The seed of the sun is the deliverer of all Ashen. And while we know truly from what we have to be delivered, those in his own land in the east, the Orient, miscomprehended the true message. And there we are at chapter 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a quick break. And then when we get back, we'll take questions, comments, or questions. Love to hear from you. Okay. So you're tuned in right here to Ask Desert Owl on the Forbidden History series. What they didn't want you to know that we tell right here, somebody's got to do it. And we're so happy to share with you what is so important to us right here. Okay. So don't go away. We'll be right back in 5 minutes. You can still call a friend. All right. We'll see you on the other side. Okay, and we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Good to have you. And there's that last quote. Once we can begin to comprehend the true nature of things, then we can begin to comprehend that there is nothing really more to complain about. And when I wrote that, I was laying on a concrete slab in a concrete cell, framed for the worst crime on the planet. And I'm thinking, how in the world did I get here? And that's another story for another day. But stuff happens to those who tell the truth. You know, people who expose the corruption. Then you find out the rest of the story that it's all corrupt. They're all criminals. They're all bad people. You know, that are running the world. And there are very few good people. Good people come out. You know, once they wake up, then they come out. And that's what we're supposed to do. You know, the coming out. We started in false traditions. That's what it is. You know, the false traditions are giving us lies. And you know, the scriptures say that the truth is not a part of any lie. So the first thing we have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to separate from all the lies and get to the truth. So like, okay, what is the truth? People, you know, want to know. Okay, well, the easy way to find the truth is to find all the lies. And once you find all those lies, you start throwing them off the ship. You know, and all of a sudden you got nothing left but the truth. And that's that's a simple way to put it. You know, and we have to realize that everything came to us in a lie. And I can do illustrations. And once we get a sizable audience growing here, and you can help by bringing on some friends, okay? Because I get motivated when we have a group of listeners coming in, and so we're just ramping up again. But you know, the truth is not a part of any lie, and therefore we have to hear some things we've not heard before, because it'll shake us to our foundation, or we've been founded on certain precepts, you know, things that we've been told and have been handed to us, and then to find out that, wait a minute, you mean this isn't true? That's not true. Wait a minute. Whoa, whoa, hold on. I think I'm gonna faint. Let me breathe. Okay, everything's all right now. I think I can handle it. Yeah. Tell me again. What? Okay. Yeah. And that's the thing. You know, like, didn't it say that they in the scriptures that the occultic would change the times and seasons? Well, they not only changed the times and seasons, but they changed the names, they changed the places, they changed the narrative, they shuffled the scriptures, they changed the words, they abbreviated the words, they added on to the words, so that you could never figure out the scam that has been played on you, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't mean that these shultres, these scriptures that we do have, you know, can't inspire us, can't help us to have a conversion. There's a con right there. You know, it's a what's another word for that? Transformation. You know, we don't want to use these con words. Transformation. Uh, you know, it's a work, and it's a whack, because it whacks you right up the side of the head. Wait a minute. Okay, it says there's only one Lord, one faith, one baptism, right? Okay, let me think about that now. We got 600 different flavors of Christianity. I call it Baskin Robbins. What flavor do you want? Rocky Road, mint chocolate chip, sprinkles with vanilla. You know, you can have your flavor. What flavor do you want? You know, no, wait a minute, wait. How can there only be one Lord, one faith, one baptism? To use those corrupt terms, because they are corrupt terms, Lord, faith. Faith is faith, but it's a ph. You know, they took away the ph and gave us an f. These are all, that's how all the game is played, you know. And so we can't get back to base one. You know, wait a minute. Okay, thought what we're supposed to preserve the original thought, preserve the original structure of a shavors, which is the original for word. You know, word is sword. Actually, look at it. You know, sword. Write it down. Write down word. Put an S in front of it. Put a T in front of that. You got the silent T, the symbol of the sword, in the word sword. Sword, because when they were reading 2,000 years ago, you know, most people couldn't. And so when somebody could read, all the other kids would come over and say, "Hey, can you read these flaming swords of fire? Can you read them?" You know, it'd be like television, you know, state of the art. You know, let's hear what these flaming swords are saying on the page. You know, uh, it was an experience, you know, to be back there, because it has nothing like what we have today. We're speaking Pig Latin. It's the most corrupt form of communication. in the history of mankind, ladies and gentlemen, because it's engineered by a priesthood of the Jesuits, the Jesuits, okay, who hate your guts, and they call you goyim. They think you're cattle. It's not a crime to kill you, and they're doing a good job of it now, aren't they? Yeah, they really are. So we have a comment or a question from Ninja Cat standing by, and if any of you want to join in, we certainly welcome you. You know, if you've been trying to figure something out, you know, put it on the table. You can actually type your question in the chat as well. That's a third way you can interact with us, and I'll be glad to take your question right from the chat. Um, because there's no question that doesn't deserve a good answer, ladies and gentlemen. We don't beat up people here. We're user friendly. You know, you can reach out and touch us and go away with a good, you know, good feeling. All right. Periodically, we get some of those, you know, troublemaker trolls coming in and, you know, saying stupid stuff and everything. But and we'll just have to deal with it when it happens. Okay. But anyway, so Ninja, you're there. Make sure you know, sometimes when you talk to me, I notice that they can't hear it. So I don't know how you do that, but make sure you're on so they can hear you as well. Give us an audio check on both. 10-10 means both of us are balanced. If we're not balanced, then let us know. Okay. And so Ninja, you there?
Yes, I'm just adjusting my sound.
Right. So how do you do
Okay.
the thing where you talk in my ear but they can't hear you,
The
and then
microphone
you
is
know
on.
that now that you're
Yeah, the microphone
oh,
is left on mute on the in the
oh,
OBS, but I unmute like manually the actual microphone, the headset.
so you got
I've
a
got two
trick
mute
up your
buttons.
sleeve. Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's pretty slick.
It
So
is.
so yeah. And so what's up? What's your question for today or your comment?
Okay, so I found the word that I was looking for to refer to. My question. Um, uh, okay, so we're going back to the original because everything we speak today has been corrupted. Corrupted, correct? Um, so,
Oh yeah, you could. That's a good. Basically true. There might be an exception, but I don't think of one off the top of my head. Go ahead.
um, so we know that Jesus is not the right word, and Yeshua is the correct word. But how do we know that Yeshua is the correct word when he's been referred to, like in lost writings, and as other words, like Lanvid was the one that I was looking for at the beginning of the Kayla D document. Lanvid, Lanvid. That's the first and only time I've seen him referred to with that name, and that's from his great uncle. So is that translated wrong, or is I don't know?
Well, automatically I can know there's a problem with the word because of the letter D,
Yeah.
because they supplemented the letter T with the letter D. So I'll give an example in the chat for our friends here. Okay, so this word here, the prime example. This is the best one. So the Eavid. Okay, and David is correctly Tavat. Wow, what a difference! Huh? How do you wrap your mind around that one? We grew up all of our lives with David, but look at the two letters front and back. The D is a DVD, you know, but it's the D is the word, the letter for death. It's actually the fourth letter of the alphabet, and so the D is the um, I'll just type it in there. D is the sunset. So that's when the light is going down. But what did we have with Tavat? We had a nation being born, right? They wanted a king, but Saul, who was better, bigger and badder than everybody else, was no good. And so David comes along, and he's the sunrise. So David is the sunrise of a star, a nation, and and uh, and so Tava, look at it. In the middle, you got Ava. Well, there's your sound wave, right, for creation. The Ava of creation, the beginning of something big. And so li, uh, I have to look at the book now because I don't have it in front of me, but livid or whatever the word Lewid, the D at
Landvid.
the end of it.
Landvid.
Landvid, thank you. Landvid. The D is a tip off, so it'd be uh, immediately you'd consider changing it to a T. That's the how the game is played, and then looking at it. But I've not heard that terminology before, and therefore it's worth more study. And so uh, that's what's interesting about reading this particular star message or misnomered as gospel, because it has some things in there for the first time we're reading that set it apart, and but to see the parallel stories, written with different terms or in a different way with more of the story, that's what's really coming up, and people are going to really enjoy hearing something when they've been reading the same story over and over, whether it's in King James or any other version, in our modern, and then to hear these stories for the first time, and it's like, wow, it's going to be exciting because we all want the inside scoop. We all want to hear it in a way that it may have been differently before it got filtered in the Vatican. It's all filtered. All of our scriptures are filtered, and if you want to have the best translation to compare it with, other than what we're doing here, because we're taking it to another level where nobody's been before, which is revealing the code, of the corrupted Pig Latin back into the Indo-Germanic mother tongue. As I said, we're speaking 70% of it in abbreviated form. But if you want to do your own comparison with another version, which is actually the best version in modern time, hands down, okay, because I've collected all the different versions all these years. At one point had over 60 versions on my shelf. I may have 60 again now because I lost a lot of books on the journey, but I've got maybe more now, but I've got the best. I've got the best to compare. And the best versions don't have Lucifer in it because that was put in by Freemasons. Lucifer is their creation. And there's no 666 in the number of the beast because the number of the beast is a 6 because it's the number of man. Man is the beast. Man is the serpent, you see. Uh, and so anyway, what tipped me off that it wasn't Jesus was reading my own corrupted versions. Reading, did I tell him to read Farrar Fenton? I didn't mention it, did I, Ninja? I almost was there. Let me back up for a minute. Farrar Fenton, ladies and gentlemen, is the version you want to get if you go to artisanpublishers.com, artisanpublishers.com, Artisan Publishers, all one word. They've been my friends for over 20 years, and they've got the works that were published around 1905 for 40 years of prep, over 40 years of prep from out of the university. Farrar Fenton read nothing but Hebrew and Greek. He would not read any English because he didn't want to be corrupted by prejudice or political or corrupted intent, and he wanted to read the most primitive documents, even though there were no originals. He read the oldest. He became expert in Hebrew and Greek, and then he did his translation 40 plus years later. Okay, so Farrar Fenton Bible, yeah, 1905 approximate, and just absolutely, there's no other that compares. Okay, you just got to get it without going into it. Other than the idols are actually the columns. He refers to the idols of the Old Covenant as the twin columns. You see it in Freemasonry. They call it Jachin and Boaz, sun and moon, and that's what the twin towers represented. The two columns of the occultists, and where they pass their children through the fire on the altar, and so the twin towers coming down was the grand sacrifice of this occult ritual culture, and so so Fenton is number one, but what we're doing goes beyond what Fenton did, okay? And so yeah, but gets Farrar Fenton if you want the best translation, ladies and gentlemen, hands down. I've been doing this all my life. I've been studying this stuff for 50 years now, 50 years of study. I'm 65. Okay, I started when I was 14 reading ancient history. Okay, Ninja, back to you. Did we cover? Okay. I was then answering the question again. So I was at one point, I was following Jesus, and he was my guy. And then all of a sudden, when I'm reading the Old Covenant stories, and I see after Moses, Moeshan, then there's this guy Joshua, and he's going to come into the promised land. He's going to do battle. And then I suddenly one day it clicked with me that he was the archetype. This Joshua, he was also with his name was Bar Nun, right? Bar Nun. He was the okay. He was Joshua Bar Nun. But wait a minute. Then I realized, wait, not only is this the guy that is the archetype, but is he says he's Bar Nun. What is the Bar Nun? Bar Nun is Bar Noon. He's the seed of the sun. He's the seed of the sun at high noon, the apex of light. You see, and so there it is, right? He's the seed of light. He's Joshua. What? There's no J. It's a Y, and therefore it's Yahshua. And then so that's how it opened up to me, and I realized, wait a minute, Jesus is a supplement. They took away. That's why in Revelations it says, "I will give you a name that nobody is naming." Nobody is naming because it's the real one. You see, and so we grow, and then all of a sudden we wake up and say, oh, "Okay, I get it." They switched it out, so I'm going back to the original because that which is first is superior, and so Joshua is Yeshua, and in the most primitive it's Yal Shulin Va. So let me type it in here to show the progression. Joshua, Joshua. Okay, then it's Yahshuah, Yeshua. But then it becomes, because U is a corruption, it then becomes Yahshooh, Yeshua, like that, Yeshua. But then it becomes in the most primitive, and I don't use it when I do the reading or anything because I don't want to lose people, but the most primitive is the original, and this is what it is, okay? It is Yahllshoollanvat. Yal Shulin Va. Yal Shulin Va. So what is it? Yal, Yahll equals that which goes round. Okay, what goes round? Sun and moon. They go round every day. They keep going around. There you can see the word HLL is the prime root of the word hill. And so where we think of a mountain, then we think of a hill. We think a mountain big, hill is small. No, it's out of Old English. And I read in a book one day in the Old English, it said that hill means Hill, which, was where this word comes from, out of the Yal, which goes round. Hill means the place of the gods. Well, it would have been Elohim, right? Elohim, the place of the enlightenment, the place of the enlightened ones. But so Yal, then Shu, okay, Shoo, Shul, okay, Shulan, we'll include An, okay, but Shul means knowledge, right, and of the one, because An means one, of the O-N-E, okay, so knowledge of the one, and then the Vat, the V-A-T, equals the serpent. I meant equals serpent, okay? Equals. So Vat is serpent. So literally it means, in a literal sense, Yal Shulam Va means the knowledge of the serpent that goes round. What is the serpent? Everything is the serpent. The sun is the cobra. It means supporting power. Bra, all women know what a bra is. Co-support. Cobra, co-support. That's why the Pharaoh wore the cobra on his headdress, because he was claiming to be the ambassador of the sun, which in the beginning, the first 3 verses of our scriptures, Genesis, it says that the breath moved upon the cosmic waters, not upon the ocean, but the cosmic waters and breathed into a star, and then there is light. Not was light, is light. Still today is light. See how they changed it to past tense? They want it done with. They don't want the light anymore. So it was light. No, it is light. There is light, ladies and gentlemen. See how important words are, how they change them. So vat, we see vat is the serpent. Where do we see that word? Vatican, the serpent of Cain. Serpent of Cain. And Cain is Chain. That's why we keep getting the chain. I spelled it wrong. I'm sorry. Going fast. Cain is chain. Serpent of Cain. Okay, you got it. You got the oral version. There it is. So Ninja, did I answer the question okay for you?
Yeah, thank you. And I started typing something that I saw, and I wasn't quick enough before you said that you were gonna get on a roll. Um, so I'm just gonna put it in there so that you can see it. When you were talking about Joshua, you made me think of when people say, there it is, when people say he's second bar none. Like, I've heard people say that when referring to, like,
Joshua bar none.
yeah, and I've heard that saying. Like, I've heard people say that, like, when just if they're in conversation and they're talking about someone, like he's, for example, he's second bar none. It made me think of that.
Right, because it's a joke. That's how they corrupt the words. They make it into a negative. Well, it's, like that's called the black sun. They occult all of the things in reference to the light and make it into darkness. So yeah, they say no, he's none. He's out of here. He's gone. Nothing to see here, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing to see. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good point, Ninja. Yeah, I didn't look at it that way, but that's it. I just saw the noon. I saw the positive. I saw what it was hiding, but I didn't see the other extreme, and that's why it's good to talk about these things and in the discussion, right?
Yeah, yeah. The more, I just want to emphasize, yeah, if you're not comfortable with calling in live, please
Calling
feel
dead.
please feel
That's an
free.
option.
Please feel free to put your questions in the chat, because the more people,
most of the people walking around are dead. I mean, that's the point I'm trying to make here. So we have a lot of people that are striving to live. They want to live, and that's why we all need to do this together, ladies and gentlemen, because we serve. We can't live if we don't serve. We can't live if we don't share, and we're still working out our own soul novation. Salvation is soul novation. Okay, that means becoming a new star navigator, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
these are all the things that you don't hear, and we want to share it before the clock ticks out. Did I interrupt you, Ninja?
Yes.
Did you have a final point?
Yeah, I just want to say, yeah, feel free to put any question you have in the chat, because the more we discuss these things, the more we question, the more we can figure out, and the more we can come at things from different perspectives, like you saw just then with the bar none. Yeah, and communication is science, like you say in a definition in your dictionary. Science is communication, and yeah, thank you. It's so good to be back. This is so good.
No, we're front and center. No, that's the other way.
It's so good
We're
to be front and center. Please
Thank you very
forgive
much.
me. And
Up is down and down is up, right? Okay,
yes,
they want us back. They want us turned the other way.
yes, yes. And this is what we need to focus on right now. Yeah, this is what we need to focus on, and it's so good to be back, because things are starting to, like, you forget if you're not doing something regularly. You forget, and
Right.
this is good.
Right.
It's positive for
Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah, you said back again. You see, it's hard to break these old habits. Just like
Exactly.
we all want to say, "Oh, the light bulb went off." Wait a minute, you mean the light bulb went off? I thought the light bulb is supposed to go on, right?
Yep.
Oh, the light bulb went on, but everybody says the light bulb went off.
Yep.
That's how they play these little tricks on us. I could go on and keep giving examples. We're going to work on that. We'll do a day of just showing you bad words, that they use. They've corrupted, and it's the joke is on us, ladies and gentlemen. See, that's it. And so we're going to be hammering, and we're going to do every night because the time is so short. If something comes up where we can't do a certain night, then know that we'll be back the next night. If you don't see us, if we're going to try to be on time, not late, but anyway, you're welcome to reach out and touch us. If you're dealing with an issue on the side, you want to talk, to yours truly here, Desert Owl on the side, then you've got my phone number, 608-566-7295. The occultists have my phone number. That's why they always give me these crank calls. But I'd love to hear from you if you're dealing with, trying to figure something out and you just don't want to do it on the chat or whatever, or call in on the program. You're welcome to call me on the side, okay? Especially if you're needing help, spiritually, or trying to figure something out legally. People are facing a lot of different issues. We used to direct people to our friends who are the law researchers as well. So we're here to serve our world, our community, while the rest of these, mother sons of darkness, which is what Masonic means, are here to destroy our world. We're here to serve and help each other. That's our goal. So we're user friendly. We're hoping to help as many people as we can on this journey out of here. Okay, and we know that it's going to be cut short. So while we got the medium, while we got the ability to work through these problems with Third Tube, let's do it. If you know of a venue we should go to, and or if you want to interview, I'm looking for other people to interview me on their channels. We can do it on another venue. I'm good to go. I like questions because questions bring potential answers that, or help us to see things in a way, not knowing what the questioning is going to steer us into. I see things for the first time many times while we're doing a broadcast. It's happened over and over, and because discussion is important. And I don't talk to anybody, anymore other than Ninja on the side when we're producing these translations. She's helping me do the translation project. Reading with me certain books that we're trying to compare different versions of, so that we can get a perfect version going. And that's something coming up by the end of the month. So right, so glad you're stopping by. Some new people stopped by today, some old friends as well. So thank you so much for coming by. Do tell a friend. Thank you for the thumbs up, and for being a part of the broadcast today. Okay, so don't forget, I'm Desert Owl telling you, if you want to know the future, then you need to look right here for the Forbidden History. It's all right here, coming your way. Somewhere out there, 7 days a week, is what they didn't want you to know, of course, that we're going to keep on telling, because somebody's got to do it. Peace and love, everyone. Good night.
Starry, starry night, paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day with eyes that know the darkness in my soul. Shadows on the hills, sketch the trees and the daffodils, catch the breeze and the winter chills in colors on the snowy linen land. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. Starry, starry night, flaming flowers that brightly blaze, swirling clouds in violet haze, reflect in Vincent's eyes of china blue, colors changing hue. Morning fields of amber grain, weathered faces lined in pain are soothed beneath the artist's loving hand. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now, for they could not love you, but still your love was true. And when no hope was left inside on that starry, starry night, you took your life as lovers often do. But I could have told you, Vincent, this world was never meant for one as beautiful as you. Starry, starry night, portraits hung in empty halls, frameless heads on nameless walls, with eyes that watch the world and can't forget, like the strangers that you've met, the ragged men in ragged clothes, a silver thorn, a bloody rose, lie crushed and broken on the virgin snow. Now I think I know what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they're not listening still. Perhaps they never